So what year is the mobile home that they currently have?
I believe it is a 2012.
2012.
Yes.
Where is it currently?
Is it Weatherstone in Michigan City? How long do you, in all fairness, how long do you anticipate the mobile home might be located there?
I would love to tell you forever.
Sure.
But my dad's 85 with dementia. My mom's 81 and starting to forget things. And I'm the only one that can take her to Walmart. My dad doesn't leave the house very much anymore. So when the time comes that they're no longer going to be with us, I will remove it. So in all fairness, I can't give you an exact date.
Sure.
That's what I can tell you.
Do you
I
guys
want
have,
it to be forever.
do you have any questions before I ask for remonstrators?
Yeah, ask for it.
Okay, if you'd like to have a seat, are there any remonstrators this evening for petition number 1?
Madam President, our office has received 2 letters of remonstration against,
Stay there.
one is by one individual and the other one is signed by
1, 2.
several homeowners, about 7 of them.
Should put the record, do you think?
Yeah, they'll go in with one of the
Yeah.
past.
In the record.
Shelley, I apologize, you can return. I thought we had more remonstrators.
Did you see the second one?
This is right here.
No,
This one or this one.
I think they're the same. I think there's one more.
No, this is,
He's got them.
he has them, I think. Oh, these are both little homes.
Madam President, if I may.
Yes, please.
So with the petition that was filed, we see a rough sketch where it shows a mobile home in the rear of the property. When I reviewed the property last month, it showed that it was staked on the east side. Which one is current? Is it going to be where it's staked right now or how it's sketched?
It could be either or, where the variance, it fits in the variance where you saw it.
Okay.
But if you told me to put it
On the other side?
in the back, I would put it in the back. I would put it wherever I had to put
Those are
it,
directly
Okay.
at his house there.
you know?
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
So, if it's over here, where that is.
Well, that's where their existing residence is at.
He's not
So
gonna see it
this-
out the front window from the back here.
Yeah, this person doesn't.
That's what I'm saying. That's his house. It's behind.
So
us.
with
I
regard to
can't see
parking,
it in
well,
the yard.
I assume your parents do have a
Like this
vehicle.
says.
Would they park at your driveway
Yeah.
and walk?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because, yeah, they don't really even hardly drive their vehicle anymore.
I understand. It's a tough situation to be in.
It is.
I understand.
It is.
Questions from you guys?
I really don't have any questions.
Do you guys have any questions?
Do we have a picture of the mobile home at all? We just know
Well,
it's a 2012.
2012. Do you have any pictures of the existing mobile home with you, by any chance?
they're gonna move it.
No,
from
I wish I
foundation
did. I
to
can tell you
foundation.
it's very nice and
You
it's
want a
on the newer
foundation, did you
side of
say?
Weatherstone Village.
Where is it?
It's right across from the lake there. It's on the new
Yeah.
side. It's very nice.
So this is gonna get moved and put on a foundation, etc.
Yes.
All according to the building commissioner's specs. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, they're gonna have to get a permit to move it, and-
Yep. Understand.
okay?
Yes, I'm okay.
So if there are no further remonstrators, I have seen none, other than written correspondence. If there are no questions, I will entertain a motion for petition number 2.
Madam President, I'll go ahead and make a motion here that the petition for variance of developmental standards for Shirley Curley for moving her parents to this mobile home at 77 West 350 North be approved for a period of 2 years, renewable.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
About where it's gonna be.
You could, if she knows for sure. Is there any particular spot where the board would like to see you go?
Preferably in the back.
Okay. Preferably in the back then,
Absolutely.
a little further out of the line of sight.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Good luck.
Thank you. What do I do now?
You're gonna contact
Talk
the
to
building
commissioner.
department.
He'll help you from there on.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Okay, petition number 3 this evening is a petition of variance for developmental standards for Jeff Nosek, buyer, and Brett Carney, seller, for purchasing 2 parcels and building a home without 200 feet of road frontage. Driveway will be off cul-de-sac. The property is located north of 3927 North Meritage Trail, LaPorte, Center Township, zoned R1B on 40.1 acres.
That's adequate.
Thank you. Give me a moment. Could you state your name and address for the record, please?
My name is Jeffrey Nosich. I reside at 8330 Parkview Avenue in Munster.
This is the, yeah, that's the other one. I looked at this.
Okay, so you're looking to purchase these 2 parcels and combine them into one and put a residence on it.
Correct. One single family home.
You think that he should have a cul-de-sac, shouldn't he?
Mm-hmm.
For the county?
Oh yeah, Meritage Trail there is pretty tiny for road frontage.
This is the two less than.
Do you have anything that kind of tells me where you want to place the home on the location?
I haven't done any site analysis or design. It would be somewhere in the middle of the property.
Sure.
Our goal is to preserve the views of
Yeah, that's
neighboring
what it is.
businesses as well as
So there's no coverage
keep
for
the house
this
centered.
one, or, you know, this one.
Really?
Well,
It's a subdivision.
Yes. Okay. We'll figure it out.
So somewhere in the middle.
If I may, Madam President,
Yes,
are these landlocked parcels now?
No, this one-
barely.
Yeah, Meritage Trail would be the access to the properties we're purchasing. The adjacent properties have access on 525 and 450.
Okay, but the 2 parcels that you have, your only access is to and through this Meritage Drive?
That's right here.
Okay.
Essentially, there's 2 cul-de-sacs that come.
There's some law out there with, that states there's a strong public policy to eliminate land on lots in zoning. Just so the board's aware.
I don't know. That's a good one.
Well, if I looked at this correctly and I'm assuming this was proposed to be part of an extension of the subdivision at some point in time, and Meritage Trail does dead end right at the property. So it's not necessarily landlocked.
I have a copy of the plat if you'd like to see it.
Well, without the zoning variance, it is, because it's not part of the subdivision, so you don't have your 2 foot, 100 foot Right. of road frontage, so. But there are Court of Appeals opinions that say, we don't want to create lots that are useless, we want to make them productive.
It's not productive without the
Why do we have to
variance.
look at it?
But I agree with what you're saying.
Do we need to look at it first before it's part of?
Doug's the one that questioned whether it was landlocked.
Oh, wow.
The home on this lot right here, correct? Yeah.
We need to get him on the mic, please.
So this is the research I've conducted we've got this plat, Woods of Concord. It has the subdivision as it's currently laid out. The two parcels are not shown here. However, there was an agreement between the former developer of the Woods of Concord that there would be a cul-de-sac easement if and when the parcels we're purchasing would be subdivided into a future second phase of Woods of Concord. And I don't have any evidence of that being.
Nothing on that plat.
It's been vacated since the early 90s.
Okay. Thank you. You want to see it?
What does he mean now?
Right, so whatever Doug said, I'm like, does that mean?
That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to think how he said that.
I don't think we can deny somebody property, but
But they try to eliminate it. What by eliminate does he mean? Has to have the approach should be clarified.
is that allowed? I feel like that's not.
Well, I've used it both ways, but as a judge, I can do it. But not the bench, I don't know. That's me.
Maybe you should ask him to clarify his statement.
Just for our understanding, Doug, could you repeat what you said about that? We're trying to.
Without the variance, this is technically a landlocked lot. Okay? Even though, and I think, I agree, I think this was supposed to be another phase of subdivision that didn't get developed. So there's law in the case law that says that that the zoning appeals wants to make land useful. So there's bias in the law to grant this because right now we have two useless pieces of property.
Right.
Not useless, but
Sitting
if you
there.
can't get to it, okay, and it was not by his doing, it was not by anybody's doing, the subdivision just didn't develop for the next phase. Okay, so all I'm saying is there's law that says favor the request. Doesn't mean grant it, but favor it.
That's why I kind of interpret it that way too. I was just making sure I had the clarification correct.
Yep.
Thank you.
Is that road, is that in the county inventory?
Is
Meritage Trail is.
this is that? I don't know what that. I know what this is.
So that makes sense. This person is okay.
Yeah.
You asked very much, or yet?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Are there any remonstrators this evening for petition number 3? Anybody for or against? If you'd like to have a seat, we'll hear from a remonstrator. Thank you. And if you would, please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. My name's Zach Krasinski. I live at 5027 West Meritage Court, LaPorte, which is in Woods of Concord subdivision. I don't think the entire picture of what's going on here is being painted so far, so I had a little bit of material for you folks. If I could give each of you. Sorry, I'm short on copies a little bit here. Just to put it in perspective a little bit for you guys. Oops, one more than I thought. So, where the easement is in the pink where it says Meritage Trail. I actually own the 4 lots in this subdivision. There are 4 lots in the subdivision that are adjacent to this property. I own 2 of the 4 of them. I also own the additional lots in the subdivision, which I highlighted in green there. So, as you can see, I'm right where the easement is where I live. To your point, sir, about the land, the person who owns the lots in this subdivision that they're asking about, Brett Carney, also owns these lots I highlighted in
Right,
pink.
that's what we just need.
So,
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So,
Can I get you guys on the microphone?
This road is, right,
This road is where the pink is, right
Okay,
here,
thank
where
you.
the cul-de-sac is. So Brett Carney, the seller, also owns these pink lots where he could grant easements for them instead of us having to bear the burden of that through the subdivision. All of us in this subdivision, the average value of a home is $400,000 to $600,000. We pay a lot in property taxes. We maintain everything really well. It doesn't seem right that someone would get to benefit from what we put in for every year between all of our costs, as opposed to him having to give an easement off of his own property that he already has. He's benefiting. Part of the reason that I'm opposed to this for the last,
And sir, if I could get you to speak into the microphone, that would
part
be
of the
great,
reason
thank
that I've
you.
been opposed to this for the last 4 or 5 years, near as my memory serves me, driving home every single day, I get to stare at a practically abandoned trailer and signs that are in this property that's up for question tonight, but not part of our subdivision. So our covenants protects us in our subdivision and helps establish our home values. Giving this easement, I could end up with chickens next door to me. So more trailers, I mean, there's nothing stopping more of this.
It's not an easement.
No, I didn't think so. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah,
we got this one right here. That's basically this picture right here. We have a better picture.
I think another matter that comes to mind with this too, the way that the easement, or where the cul-de-sac was in there initially, how are you gonna finish off where that cul-de-sac is to allow this easement in? I mean, you can't just have a road all of a sudden stop and look half thought out. And what, you're gonna transition to a dirt road that leads back into something? I mean, at least the cul-de-sac should have to be finished or something, or maybe the property is subject to the covenants and restrictions of our subdivision. I mean, there's, to just grant this though, it seems like the first option should be the seller giving it through his other properties.
This would lead to that circle.
Thank you. Are there any further remonstrators this evening for this petition? Okay, Mr. Nosich, if you'd like to come back up. So I guess one of the questions I have is with respect to the cul-de-sac that is not at the end of Meritage Trail. Are you planning on putting in a driveway off the end of that cul-de-sac, or where would be a driveway?
That's correct.
Back to it, gravel?
That's correct. I would transition it to a paved apron, probably gravel or asphalt up to the residence. I would certainly have to design that in accordance with the county guidelines for.
Right, because it definitely would not be something that would be plowed by the county. It would not be maintained. It would all be on your property and maintained strictly by you.
Absolutely.
Okay, what kind of questions do you have?
Meritage Trail is public right-of-way?
That person.
Meritage Trail is a public road. It just stops right at the edge of that property. And I would,
The county does maintain it?
There,
I believe it does, yes.
or there.
And in regards to there being the semi-trailer there, I would say that will end up being removed regardless on what happens here, because that's against code.
I've made that a condition of the sale at the seller to remove that.
So, and I'm gonna make, my issue with an easement, I would rather we do private land, driveway, they maintain their own access to the property from Meritage Trail. In my opinion, that's a lot cleaner than a variance to the property from someone else. Through the current owner's other properties. I'd rather see a physical driveway, like we discussed, than a variance, an easement, rather, easement.
Physical driveway from where?
From the end of Meritage Trail.
That's what he's proposing.
Right, that is.
Yeah.
about to ask for a motion.
Any questions you have?
It's confusing.
Go for it.
Okay, there are no further remonstrators. I'll entertain a motion for this petition.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to accept the petition for variance of developmental standards for Jeff Nosich, buyer, and Brett Carney, seller, for purchase of the 2 parcels and to build a home without the 200-foot of road frontage.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Excuse me, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign.
Aye.
Okay, your motion carries. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, petition number 4 this evening is a petition for variance of use for Cecil Pryor III for a residential assisted living with a maximum of 4 residents. The property is located at 5493 North, Highway 35, LaPorte, Springfield Township, zoned R1B on 1.15 acres.
I need your notice, material, sir.
Is it all in the packet?
Quite a bit.
And you should have the photos for this, even if it's in.
Oh, yeah, the photos were in the pack. The photos was in the packet. Okay.
Yeah, I had all these nice pictures.
Mm-hmm. And I mean,
Notice is adequate. Thank you.
Thank you. And if you would both please state your name and address.
Cecil Pryor III, 5493 North, US Highway 35, LaPorte, Indiana.
Gail Davis, 150 Esther Street, Michigan City, Indiana.
Could you hear that?
Gail Davis, Gayle, Davis, 150 Esther Street, Michigan City, Indiana.
Thank you. Okay, well, I'd love to hear more about this assisted living. So why don't you tell us your plans?
Yes, ma'am.
And if you would, Cecil, get right in that microphone. Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me better?
yeah.
Yes.
Much better.
Okay, good evening. What it is to the board, assisted living is taking the elderly and helping them with just to assist them in life. And there are ones that they don't want to be in the commercial setting, they want to be in a residential setting, and the state, which they allow up to 4 before you have to license your facility. Okay, you can do it out of license there, but you do have to get the zoning for it. So what it is, you provide, say there, right now we could do up to 4, but there's 3 that I know of that would love to not to be in a commercial or not in a nursing home or not in assisted living. So you should provide lunch, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snacks. You help them with their daily life. Some of them may need assistance to the restroom. They may not. And, just as our elderly get elderly, you want to help them live their best life, and they don't want to be in a commercial setting. They want to be in a home setting, and that's what we're offering. And you work with Medicaid, you work with the Department of Aging, you work with the State Health Department, and of course, our local government as well. And just to provide them the safety and what they need to get through with their daily life to help them.
They would live there full time.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. And you provide, an aid, of course, and if they also, the medical part of it is on their own. So their loved ones will still decide, what doctor they're going to go to, their doctor visits, their family sets all that up. So
And
this
then
is just
as far
helping
as
them at home.
transportation to and from appointments, do you provide that or do the families provide that?
I will set it up to provide, but I will leave it up to the families first. If they would like for us to do that, yes, ma'am, then we would be able to do that.
Okay.
I have a transportation company that I know really well. This does medical transportation.
Okay.
And then, of course, you provide them recreation,
Sure.
TV room, game room, if you will. So,
Would the residents have visitors? So I mean, they're going to be. You don't have a lot of parking spots.
it's really just just their loved ones that would come and see them. It's with 3 people. I mean, it's not going to be like someone coming to see them every day. And if they would be, I mean, you're talking 3 people. So, but no, but that's about it. Yes, sir.
Pictures of Gus using demonstrators.
Do you have these?
Yeah, I looked at Glenn's.
Okay. Let's see if there's any remonstrators this evening for your petition. There are any remonstrators here for petition number 4, either for or against petition number 4? Okay, seeing none.
Okay.
How do you determine how you select the individuals that are going to stay there? I'm just asking because I noticed from the photos that have been provided, there is some exercise equipment, which I think is wonderful, but I also see like rugs on the floor. My experiences with group homes more than assisted living per se for elderly people, but it just seems like there's a lot of items that might not be conducive to someone who has mobility issues or things of that nature. So
Yes, ma'am. No, you are correct, and we would definitely all that would come out because you don't want to have trip hazards. And that's the same thing happened with my mom. When she was staying in assisted living, they maybe take out all the rugs that we bought and put down. And that was a trip hazard. So no, ma'am. All those would come out, and and to select them, it would pretty much be to make sure they just need that level of assistance where like with my mom, she just needs to help make sure she remembers her medication, when to eat her food. But as far as showering, using the restroom, she can still do that on her own. She just needs help with what we take as for granted, but she needs help with it.
So there's a point where someone might need more assistance than you're able to provide.
Yes, ma'am, and then we would not go that. Yes, ma'am.
That's
we
what
would
I
not
want to
do-
make sure.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
ma'am. We would not do that at all. No, ma'am.
Okay. Okay.
Understand? That's my
Hearing
question.
no remonstrators.
Madam President, I'm passing to the board a section of the coding, the zoning ordinance that applies to senior assisted living, and there are a list of requirements. So if you grant the variance, you're granting a variance from the list of requirements in that
Okay.
code section.
So I'm going to wait a moment. Well, please.
Doug, while I'm looking at this, I see that if you're zoned R1D, that's where it's granted special exemption. It's not called out for R1B, which is the case of this petition. So is that between these 4 subsections of 1408C, which is what you just provided?
Yeah.
And is that what we're basing that on right now?
Yeah, you gotta look at those, we're not really concerned about how it's zoned.
Right.
It's more or less what the requirements are in the code,
Yeah.
and they're pretty extensive. That's why I want you each to look at that.
So all of this is in front of us right now?
That's correct.
Okay.
Adam, you pulled that up already?
Yeah, you have it in front of me.
Yeah, that's definitely inclusive.
You got it there too. Funeral homes, mortuaries, nursing homes, senior assisted living. Multifamily, cluster housing.
Does it,
Yeah, with central dining.
Doug, would it be appropriate if we made a copy of this and provided it to the petitioners?
Sure, yeah,
And-
that's just an excerpt from our zoning code.
Right, that they may want to table before we make a vote this evening?
We certainly can do that. I don't know if they're aware of it.
Yeah, I agree.
Did you have a chance to look at that section of the zoning code?
So,
I don't think so. There's a lot there.
Okay.
There's a lot there, more than what I thought.
And sir, what she's saying is,
Like it's more coded.
maybe we want to table this so you can look at this and see what your requirements are? Because the county has requirements too in addition to the state, okay?
stupid about it?
So you might want to amend or alter your request after you review this.
Two baths.
Because if you don't table it, they might deny you. But if we table it, you can look at that, see if you want to tweak what you're asking for. Does that make sense?
Why you put,
No, I'm saying if there are 5 bedrooms, it would still be sized, the septic would be sized
Yeah.
for his
what
use.
is
There's
use?
3 bedrooms.
I don't know, what does it say? Just
Yeah.
what it says.
It seems half bath.
I understand. That's for state licensing, but when they draft
Yeah, I think
this
the
zoning
concept's good. We
code,
had one of these earlier in the year, but
count.
I'm not sure that
But
there's
these are-
room.
that's why I'm thinking you're not.
If he doesn't meet any of that, I have to mute
So
point.
I'll give you this. I
He's
would
gotta meet everything in that list.
So you can look this over and decide what you want to do from there. Okay? They're making.
I'd say tables, and then come back, make sure you can meet that.
Right now.
Yeah. Because otherwise, you're not only asking for the 4 unit, you're asking them to waive all these requirements here, and that's an awful lot.
But
Okay, and that's why I'm guessing you're not
There's a lot
intending to
there to
do
meet.
that. So maybe regroup after you raise
yeah,
this.
regroup after this. I
Okay,
think.
that makes sense?
Suggest that. I didn't even suggest maybe the council.
Ask him if he wants to table,
So I would suggest you request the board to table.
because it's how long, if we give him an out, how long is it before he
Well,
gets
6 months. I strongly suggest we continue to next month.
We don't want to penalize them
No,
because they
no,
don't
no.
know.
Till the next month. That's true.
Attorney Ambrose to the rescue. Nice.
Madam President, I've just suggested that the petitioner's not aware of all these requirements at the county level. You check with the state, comply with them, but not our county requirements. I would recommend we table, give him an opportunity to review this information and see if he wants to modify his request in any way.
I would agree with that. How do you feel about that?
Yes, Madam President. And also, I mean, what is it like, I mean, from your standpoint, what is it like saying that's, that's out there so I can know?
He's gonna highlight it.
Mike's
give it to
gonna give you the requirements from the county
On the mic, Mike.
on the,
Thank you very much.
and I'm sure that Attorney BG has indicated that if we vote no tonight, then it's gonna be another like 6 months before you can petition again with the same petition.
Okay.
So I think it probably is wise if we table you,
Okay.
give you an opportunity to review all of that and decide if you wanna modify your request, meet those requirements, how you wanna proceed.
Okay, great.
Maybe possibly discuss it with council. You might gain some privilege there with that.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, who could I talk to if I have questions?
Well,
Man,
I think you should get a private lawyer on
I
this.
yeah,
agree.
private lawyer. I mean, get you
Yeah.
counsel.
Agree.
They know how to present things to the committee, okay, because this is a little bit of a tricky request. Okay, so a lot of people will hire a private attorney to represent them to the board,
Okay,
okay?
all right.
You're gonna make a motion?
I'll make that, Madam President, I will make that in the form of a motion that we table this petition for Cecil prior to the 3rd to next month, which would be 12/21, if that gives him enough notice and time to put this together. Will 1 month be sufficient for you? Okay, we'll do that.
Yes.
And then we'll come back and hear it again with possibly council, what he wants to do.
Okay,
Second that motion.
thank you.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Okay, good luck. We'll see you next month.
Thank you.
And if you decide you need longer, just contact Mr. Pullen's office and we can work out a longer extension if we need to.
Thank you so much.
So moving along, petition number 5 is a petition for variance of use for Abraham Aboma for conducting a trucking business with a pole barn for the storing the trucks and an office building. The property is located north of 5301 North, 600 West, Michigan City, Springfield Township, zoned R1B on 4.514 acres.
Sir, do you have your certified mail cards? The green cards?
Hey, good to see you moving.
We have to have them.
Are you getting lunch on Thursday?
Where are they?
What's that?
You're gonna get lunch on Thursday?
Well, I think we're going to have to set this over. We have to have proof that the neighbors received notice, okay? So what I suggest we do is set it over to next month,
Oh, yeah.
okay?
To December 21st?
December 21st?
Yes.
So, I mean the little green?
The green cards and notice
I sent the green one out.
they come back to you.
What came back? Yeah, I'll give it to you.
You have the receipts with you? Oh, at home, in Chicago?
In Chicago.
Yeah, we have to have those. It's
Yeah.
jurisdictional. They can't look at it until they, okay, well, as long as you can show me you attempted to mail, that's fine. But we have to have those before we can go forward, okay?
And included with that is also the newspaper publication as well.
Actually, I have that.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I just want to make sure we covered everything before we table them until next
I don't
month.
know if I have this there. I've drove it about 3-4 times.
I don't know if I need a motion for that. I don't
No,
think
inadequate.
it's inadequate.
All right, then we're good to go.
Okay, so we will see you next month, December 21st.
December 21st?
Yes.
Thank you.
And make sure you bring your paperwork with you.
Oh, just the green one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, petition number 6 this evening is a petition for variance of developmental standards for Sherry Nowatzki for placement of self-contained tiny homes with 2 now and up to the maximum of 5 tiny homes. The property is located west of 9655 West, 200 North, Michigan City,
Yeah.
Indiana, Cool Spring Township, zoned R1A on 7.34
I
acres.
want to make sure all these people got notice. Okay.
I don't know about this.
Better write on this one.
Deal?
So that like really needs to be a residential lot.
This is gonna be tough here.
What?
What he wants to do.
I don't want to get them messed up in the car, you know?
More likely, it's better to be a residential lot than.
I'm coming, Ben, coming.
No, but
For mine,
this
too.
is so
Well, we need to
dead
figure
end
one
at
out
the very
right
end,
now.
back in the 94. It was right over here.
I have, you don't go to the school
I
section.
just don't see how he's gonna, a lot of money that I don't see is there.
Like that.
It's just problem. He's looking for a shell game on it.
The accordion ones were pretty good.
This one, and the photos are.
Oh, I got
back
to
in the
pick
packet.
one of those tonight too, that's for something different.
They should.
Yeah, I think those were pretty good.
They should work together.
Yeah, that's the only one that's there. That's the only one that's there right now. Yep. Yep, okay, you got to, yeah.
I haven't heard that yet.
Ma'am, I have no way of knowing who you sent these to. You're missing 1, 2, 3, 4. You gave me these receipts, but they don't tell me who you mailed them to. Nor does this receipt tell me.
Those are the only ones that these are all,
You're not hearing me. I gotta know you sent it. Yeah, I gotta know you sent them notes.
I don't know what house.
Well, you're supposed to fill them out when you send them, so I know who you sent them to. These are just blank receipts. And these 2 aren't on here. Oh, that one there's, that one is.
Inadequate.
This one I can't.
This one, look at it, dinner. It's a,
Now I gotta see some proof that you, well, this one I can't tell who you sent it to because they put the sticker over it. Dunn, I don't see them on here. Carolyn Dunn?
yeah.
Maybe I can match up
Oh,
these.
it's transfer.
Bulk transport, okay. So we got Hunt and Cecilia Foldner Life Estate. All right, let me advise the board, okay?
Okay, but
I mean, you have receipts, I understand that, but it just doesn't show me who you sent them to, okay? Madam President?
Yes.
A couple things. On notice that the publication is adequate, we're missing 2 green cards on Hunt and Cecilia Foldner Life Estate. However, she's provided me with the adequate number of receipts. I just can't verify that those green cards went to those people. The board's waived that requirement in the past, showing an attempt. Okay.
Yeah. What do you think?
Secondly, I have a comment as the Planning Commission and BZA attorney. I don't think this is a variance request. I think this is an end run around a subdivision request. I think it's properly heard by the Planning Commission and not the BZA.
I tend to agree with you on
And-
that.
At least on the initial appearance, they should be heard by the plan commission to see where they want to do with it.
Pardon?
At least they should hear it first, yes.
Yeah, I think so, because
I agree.
well, look, before subdivision goes to Planning Commission, there's an initial petition, but then it goes through and
Planning
a
and-
fairly detailed process.
It
wait,
with
I'm
it.
not, it's not a subdivision.
Ma'am,
I have
It-
an
I'm talking right now, okay? So it goes through plat committee, roads are inspected. There are requirements when you put multiple houses in anywhere.
For
okay?
sewer,
Water.
No.
Septic.
It's a camper, RV. It's mobile. You take it camping. It's not stationary, you don't leave it there. We're not leaving them there always.
So what are you asking
So
for?
for.
I don't know, I'm just doing what I was told to do. I don't know, that's what
well, I think that's even more reason not to hear the
Yeah, not to hear
petition.
it. I would suggest legal counsel for your,
Yeah.
to put it
And
together,
I
to tell the story to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what you just described sounds like a campground.
Yeah.
If it's a campground, there are requirements for a campground.
No, I have one, and my daughter-in-law and son have one right now, and that's all we have right now. Just for our personal use, it's not,
Is there a house associated with this?
no, I don't
Okay.
own a home on the property.
You need to get a lawyer, because you can't just live in a camper in this town, okay?
Okay. But
You
we're
need to
not
specify,
living in 'em.
well,
Well, that's why you need to get an attorney
He
to
can
help you
tell the
present
story.
this.
Okay,
Absolutely.
okay, that's fine,
okay, because what you're asking for doesn't fit in any category,
okay.
all right? And so and it has to.
And it's,
But so if I was to have an RV,
Can't have it.
you can't have RV on my property?
You can, not on a vacant land. You
Okay,
can store an RV near your house under certain conditions,
okay.
but
Or your home, but I don't have a home in LaPorte County.
you
That's-
can't live in an RV on a parcel of real estate, no. Absolutely not.
I'm not living in it.
Okay, you have my recommendation.
So
Agree.
we're inclined to table this until December. Do you think you need longer than 1 month to consult an attorney and come back?
I did consult an attorney, and he told me I didn't need one, so,
Okay, you might want to
I'll
consult a
back.
different one.
okay.
maybe it's not clearly defined what you're intending.
Right.
Yeah.
And without
Because-
that clear definition, we don't know what we're doing here.
Right, I
That's
don't
why
understand.
What you're
Even
asking.
based on what you've said and what I've read in the petition, I'm not sure what you're asking
It
for.
doesn't match what you said and what you wrote here.
Okay, what happened is,
So we're.
I have
no,
one, and my son.
We're not
Madam
hearing
President,
your.
we can't hear
Yeah,
evidence.
we're not hearing your,
Okay.
we're not hearing anything specific to it. So I'm asking you, is a month enough time?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
So I will accept a motion to table this petition to the December 21st meeting.
Unless I'd like to provide a motion to table Sherry Nowatzki's petition for variance of developmental standards to December 21st.
I'll second it.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Very good. We'll see you in December. Petition number 7 is a petition for variance of developmental standards for John Schultz for removing mobile home, replacing with a modular home as a second dwelling, and building a new home as a primary dwelling, amended from the 9/21 meeting. To be done within 2 years. The property is located at 5045 North, 325 West, LaPorte, Springfield Township, zoned R1B on 1.096 acres.
Madam President, if I may again, Mike called me on this one, and this was very close to John's initial, original request, which
Right.
was granted. But I thought it was cleaner to run it through by the BZA one more time, especially since you're gonna be making such a significant investment. Just to make sure the record's clean. You have the mailing?
Did we not already approve this?
I thought we did, but he wants to make it clean because he's making a few amendments and changes as we go.
Okay.
Let's hear what it's gonna be with it.
He didn't have to, did he have to petition, refile?
We didn't charge him because
No, he just- I was just
he was approved
Yeah, that's what he
originally,
just said. I thought we.
and he wanted to amend it instead of leaving the mobile home there and adding a second primary structure. He wants now to
Get rid of it, put
remove
in a
it and
modular.
put, yes.
Yeah.
That's it.
You let him keep the mobile.
I just wanna know if he went with the laundry room.
Oh, it's back there.
That's all I wanna know.
I'm not sure what he wants to do now.
I do remember this one, yeah.
I remember he didn't wanna, he wasn't sure if he could meet the square footage. You may or may not give his wife a laundry room. You were not here for that.
No, that's what I
They
was
were just
missing.
using the mobile home as a bathroom, I think.
Yeah, we just wanted to make sure that the corridor was more defined, so you could see it a little easier. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you. 3 decimal places.
Notice is adequate.
Thank you.
Gotta make sure it's right.
Thank you.
And John, if you would, state your name and address for the record, please. When you get up to the podium.
Yeah, it's not.
John Anthony Schultz. I live at 433 Firefly Drive in Trail Creek, 46360.
So we've already approved you. We just want to now say we're taking out the mobile home, we're gonna get rid of it, and we're gonna put in a modular.
Yeah, within that 2-year, you know,
Yep.
we're just trying to make sure we have all of our I's dotted and T's
T's crossed,
crossed.
sure. I just want to know, did your wife get the laundry room? Very good. Good man.
Yeah,
I thought about that a lot.
but I got my exquisite kitchen coming, so.
Excellent. Very good compromise then.
Right.
Okay. So the modular home, what size is that going to be?
I believe it's 27 by 56, which if you see on the drawing, it really won't take up any more real estate than the mobile home that's on there per se, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And the reason we came back to get our I's dotted and T's crossed is because I want to start getting soil samples and a plot survey and all of the different steps that we have to take. And we thought, well, let's stop here and make sure that everything's cool and then proceed forward.
We certainly appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Do we have any remonstrators this evening for petition number 7? Anyone for or against? What about the board?
I reviewed it when I was gone. I thought everything was in touch though.
Okay, seeing no remonstrators, there are no questions from the board, then I will entertain a motion.
Melissa, I'd like to make a motion that petition for variance of developmental standards from John Schultz be accepted as presented.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Good luck.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. Have a good
Thanks
night.
everyone for your time.
Petition number 8 this evening is a petition for special exception for Sunbreak Entertainment Corporation
Second ruling not to be read.
for installing and operating an outdoor shooting range. Property is located across from 6961 Central Road in Kingsbury Industrial Park, Washington Township, zoned M2 on 38.507 acres.
We got it. Thank you.
Stood there and took it. South Third Lane Road, yep. I saw this little bitty thing here cut out.
Well, I think they were making it odd, because this is not a,
Third Lane Road.
yeah, I don't think it's not as, it's not one of the primary roads. The primary road is Second Line Road. So they're gonna use this as the access.
Off of Central?
Do a better picture in here. So Second Line Road would have Hyler's Foundry sitting here.
Oh, okay.
And then Sim's Butcher Shop is here. Helena's down here in the corner of the main off-road entrance. Most of these companies don't use the entrance really from this way. This isn't much of a road.
Right. So when I first saw that, I said backwards flag for you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So this is what shows. They're using this as the entrance.
Okay.
10 lanes, 50 yards. Can't read anything in it.
3.
Notice is adequate.
Thank you. If you would, please state your names and addresses for the record, please.
Sure. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zong Chen. I reside at 2964 South Kings Court, Chicago, Illinois 60608.
My name is Heng Chen. The address is 3221 West 61st Street, Chicago, Illinois 60629.
I'm sorry, I missed your first name.
Heng Chen. HNG.
Thank you.
My name is Yan Gao. Address is 239 West 18th Street, apartment 1B, Chicago, Illinois.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about the shooting range. No, it's not. My mic's not on. Thank you. Let's talk about the shooting range. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what your plan is?
Primarily, we're building a training facility for people interested in learning firearms, and also create recreational activities like how to hunt and how to use firearms in our facility.
So like hunter safety, gun safety?
Exactly.
Okay.
Range safety.
And I did see in the package you provided that we have certified NRA instructors, range safety officers, that those certifications were included.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about what is a certified refuse to be a victim?
Even across the country, we have this program to educate civilians how not to, get involved into dangerous situations. For example, if they happen to be walking out, night on the street at night alone, why not bring a coworker or colleagues leaving the parking lot?
Okay, so it's not necessarily a firearms related
You want to
course?
start a firearm to educate you how to.
Okay.
Safety.
Okay, just safety.
In the mindset.
Okay. I had something else in mind.
You can talk.
Okay. What kind of questions do you guys have? Questions?
So looking at the packet, I see 3 different areas marked out with at least one of them is labeled as having a 12-foot tall berm, and that's around the location. It looks to be a 300-yard range, 10 lanes, I believe,
Yeah.
on the northeast or northwest corner of the plot. Are these all designated as high-powered rifle? What do we do?
Rifle.
That is for, so straight, for long gun rifle. How about the two at the southwest, or excuse me, southeast corner?
Yeah, to the southeast corner, one is gonna be pistol training. The other is for barricades, law enforcement training.
Okay. Those are also going to have a similar berm?
12 feet, 12 feet tall. But
Okay. So we're looking, obviously we're looking at the local ordinance. What is there for guidelines that you're working to ensure the safety of your adjoining neighbors?
Yeah.
Who provides those regulations?
Currently we follow NIA guidelines.
The NRA guidelines.
Can I get you to talk into that microphone a little closer, please?
Currently
Thank
we
you.
follow NIA guidelines, and we seek to, any additional state guidelines and county guidelines.
This is the 300 yards.
I guess I'd like to hear from the demonstrators and see what they have to say.
Are there any remonstrators this evening for petition number 8?
Dave?
Okay, if you would please have a seat, we'll hear from some remonstrators.
Sure. Thank you.
Good evening, Madam Chairman, members of the board.
Good evening.
I'm David Ambers with an office at 601 State Street, Suite B here in LaPorte. I'm here as an attorney on behalf of LaPorte Lake Development Corporation. They own approximately 80 acres directly north of this property. We have several objections to this project, the first of which I may approach.
Please.
The petitioners are not the owners of the property, and the owner of the property has not executed the petition. The entity that owns the property is Illinois LLC, and none of the petitioners from the records here show as an officer of that LLC. Therefore, I don't believe the petition is proper, given the fact that the owner of the property is not joined in to the petition. Secondly, with regard to the site plan that was submitted, you have the two areas of 50 yards. I believe I just heard the gentleman say I was having trouble hearing. They said that those were going to be 12-foot berms, if I'm
12
correct.
foot. That's what I thought he said.
And I don't believe, if you recall, I'm kind of having deja vu on this with the one we shut down in Wanata years ago, but I think that berm was much higher than 12 feet with a woods behind it, and now we're looking at a 12-foot berm next to a county road, or at least a private road, a roadway. And so I think you have a definite danger there of an errant bullet crossing that roadway, and a hunter can't shoot across the roadway. I'm certainly sure we don't want people at a shooting range shooting across the roadway. Why it wasn't placed further to the west or adjacent to the 300 yards, I don't know. In addition, that area is very ripe for commercial development. My client's been contacted many times. Tony Rodriguez is pushing my client's property very hard, and eventually that's going to become some form of industrial development. Will it, if somebody from a large corporation, out-of-state corporation comes to look at it, and we got World War III going on out here, or something similar to what we had in Wanata with, too much rifle training, they may not want to take that risk, and the county might lose a major employer. If we look at the criteria under section 24.05 of the ordinance, they have not presented you any information of how they will not be injurious to the public health, safety, which I think that berm by the roadway kicks out that one, and general welfare of the community. They have not addressed whatsoever how the special exception use will not be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted, nor substantially diminish or impair property values within that neighborhood. and nor, in that same paragraph, the establishment of a special exception use will not impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding property for uses permitted in that district. Hazard, I think we certainly can meet here, which they have not. Other than the 12-foot berm, I didn't hear anything else with regard to hazards. A special exception cannot, or shall not, under the ordinance, be hazardous or to adjacent property, or involve uses, activities, material, or equipment which will be detrimental to the health, safety, or welfare of persons or property through excessive production of traffic, noise, smoke. I don't think we would have to worry about, I guess possibly odor or fumes, but particularly the noise, particularly when we know how far the noise traveled at the one in Wanatan. Public facilities and services, I think, would be adequate, but they have to meet all of these. They have to give you evidence with regard to all of these, and they've failed to present any evidence on A, B, C, let alone the fact that your petitioner isn't the owner of that property. It was just recently transferred to the LLC, which I've given you the information for. So on behalf of my client, I would certainly ask that you deny this special exception. They're close to the right area, but you've got the free range right down the road, and that's a much more isolated area. And that had to be remodeled, if you remember, several years ago, because bullets were going out of that range and hitting industrial buildings very much close to this area. And I think we'd be putting ourselves going backwards if we hold these people to less of a standard than what the state of Indiana has upheld in the KOP with that quality range. We don't see anything here suggesting it's going to be the quality and caliber of what they have out at KOP. So therefore, we respectfully request that you deny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Those other ones.
If you'd like to come forward, please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening.
Oops.
My name is Earl Miller, and I'm an employee of Hyler Industries, and our corporate address is 118 Kumler Drive, but our Kingsbury Castings location is 3232 Third Line Road.
That's right.
So we are on a property that would be northeast of this particular property. So I just want to make the statement that I am not here to oppose what they are doing. I only want to ask questions to make sure that, and ask for more clarification to make sure that everything, all of our concerns are being addressed. First and foremost, the thing that we wanted to make sure that we were asking about was the safety. They addressed safety, and we appreciate the fact that safety was being thought of with the other fellow that had spoken to. I'm not sure what the proper height is to prevent bullets and fragments from leaving the property, but if a plan can be made to come up with something, we're fine with that. What we need to protect our employees.
Sure.
We can't be putting anybody that works for us in danger. So that would be first and foremost. Sound, again, I don't know how much the sound would transfer, but we are also a loud industry as well. So I don't want to be the pot calling the kettle black on that, but sudden, quick, acute sounds, can sometimes be can startle people. So I don't know how much sound is going to transfer. So again, if the berm were high enough, that probably would be addressed as well. But we just want to make sure that would be addressed. Another question I have is that the entrance to, or the address of this is listed as Central Road. And so my question is, how are their clientele getting to the property? Because there is no public access to Central Road. So they either have to go...
It looks like it's off a third road.
Third line road.
Well, they could go first line, they could go second line, or they could go third line. Yeah. We're on third line, and we're one of the few owners of land out there. It's a private road. It is not a public road. We are one of the few entities out there that put money back into the road. Their plowing has to happen, road repairs, Unfortunately, there was a pipeline company that came out and land was leased to them, and it was fighting tooth and nails to get them to do anything to repair the road, and the road is actually still damaged on the sides from that. But we help to pay for that. So my question with that would be, how are they getting to there? And if it is third line road, then are they willing to participate in those kinds of costs? So, another question I would have would be, well, I guess that covered that question. Let's see, and then the hours of operation. We are 24/7 operation Sunday evening through Saturday mornings, but there are times when we are not there and we're not gated. We have an alarm, but we don't want folks. We don't want to be an attractive nuisance. So just again, they're not objections, but they're just questions that we would have. So I think that's Oh, lastly, we also looked at potentially purchasing this particular parcel, and we didn't because it has a wetland on it, and there's also a lot of utilities that you can't, that there's going to have to be easements, that you can't put berms around. I think the main water line runs to the east from the tower. I don't know if it continues exactly to the west, but again, we're most concerned about the berms that would be placed on the northeast corner. So,
Mr. Miller, I will provide you with this as the drawing they've provided us.
Okay, thank
if
you.
you'd like to take that with you. It is proposed. It certainly has not been accepted, but that gives you an idea of where the lanes are being proposed, and I think you'll notice it's not within the wetland area.
okay, all right, okay. Those are all my questions. Thank you very much.
you. Okay, and back here in the back. And if you would please state your name and address for the record.
My name is Joseph Smith. I reside at 1078 South 300 East, LaPorte, Indiana. I am here representing Prairie Packaging, which is owned by Acid Products, located at 7277 South 2nd Line Road in the Industrial Park. Our owners own the property basically from 2nd Road to 3rd Road. And our biggest concern, well, I have to say right now we are opposed to it because we don't know the safety protocols, but we are a DHS facility. So we are gated, fenced, and we have a guard there 24/7, 365. We have flammable materials on the property, corrosive materials on the property. Workers there basically 6 days a week from 4 in the morning till about 5 in the afternoon. Our biggest concerns would be safety.
Absolutely.
I agree.
I hate to say it, if a stray bullet got one of our tanks, who's going to be responsible for the EPA, an IDEM bill for a 4,000 gallon tank of sulfuric acid spilling out?
Sure, not to mention the potential loss of life.
Right.
So you know it's the rain shooting into their town.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Are there any other remonstrators this evening? Please.
Madam President,
Yes.
I'm sorry, I can't not see anything. I'm a certified combat rifle and pistol instructor. And so I have to say, first of all, I'm going to suggest the Plan Commission we amend the zoning code, okay? There are specific standards and specifications for firing ranges.
There are.
And restrictions on what type of weapons you can use. I'm throwing up a 12-foot berm, ain't gonna cut it. Now, the board can require an expert a plan that conforms with, and there's different agencies that have different requirements, and the board can also require an expert's opinion on the safety or validation of the plan, viability of the plan. I think eventually we should have that in the zoning code. So I just wanted to make those comments. The range design is directly related to the type of weapons used. We don't have any of that information. So, thank you.
Thank you. I mean, we all shoot, right?
Yeah, and
I think we all have that same opinion, that we don't have enough safety information.
so just even looking, while we've been sitting here
NRA.
and looking at NRA, even Department of Energy has a standard, I don't know how new this is, but as far as 2012, and it's an extensive document that says this is what it should be, and
And
we
I
don't
think
have
they
any of that in front of
mentioned-
us.
I think they mentioned NRA guidelines.
Yes.
So
did not
I
look
haven't-
that up.
No, I was agreeing with Doug. I think it should be an expert to witness how it's going to do it. The safety concerns, you heard what the constituents said around them, property owners, adjacent property owners, if you will.
owners
The
too,
business
right?
owners, yeah.
Yeah, I think the board can require design and requires a person with certification to verify the design is adequate for the proposed use.
And there are restrictions to the design, as you alluded to, yes.
Oh, yeah, NRA has
what
guidelines
you can
on
shoot,
the
exactly.
velocity, the muzzle velocity and distance. and
Exactly.
What can be used, and I think all those are appropriate if you're gonna talk about a shooting range.
Yes.
Okay, gentlemen, if you'd like to come back to the podium. And Attorney BG, do you have any comment on the property owner issue?
Yeah, the petitioner should be the property owner.
I agree.
Or at least a joint
Incomplete
petition.
with it, yes.
Okay, so in my opinion, I kind of want to table anyway until we can get some clarification on why the owner is not on the petition with you.
Well, in my opinion, if we have a petitioner that's not a property owner, that's jurisdictional. So if the court, excuse me, if the board denies, then the correct petitioner can also refile anytime.
Right.
But
So-
if we table it, the petition's gonna have to be
Amended.
amended and renoticed.
Exactly, Will. Because the scope has changed.
Right.
Isn't that kind of what we're doing though? I mean,
Yeah. I don't know if they get it done in 30 days either.
I don't either.
Not at all.
Just for one more, Doug, if I may. So if we deny this, like you said, but there's no, there's no
6 months.
because it's changed in petitioner now.
Yeah.
Even if it's a joint petition, it's still,
I think they can still
They could
reapply. I don't
still
think the 6-month limit applies.
okay.
okay,
Understand.
what do you guys want to do?
Go ahead, I've got something for you. I mean, if we want to, do we want to put a motion together? Sure. All right.
Deny or go forward?
Yep. Melissa, I'd like to make a motion that the petition,
Number 8.
variances, or a special exception for Sunbreak Entertainment Corp., be denied as presented for lack of a plan and some consideration relative to property owners.
I could agree with that, and I'll second that.
Okay, so I have a motion to deny the petition as it has been presented. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. Okay, your motion is going to be denied. So you can come back in front of us with a better plan with the safety design. You heard some of the comments about safety especially, and with the property owner as a petitioner as well.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, is there any other further business before the board this evening?
Could I bring up tiny homes?
No.
I just would like
I
to,
will-
Yeah.
I would like to, no,
I said no.
okay.
As a gentleman that's trying to drag you down.
Yes, sir. We need you at the microphone.
Wayne Nova, 9627 West 200 North. I was wondering if you could possibly tell me on the one that's been postponed till next month,
Which-
Sherry Nowatzki, were there any remonstrators?
We were not able to listen to any presentation of
Okay,
her.
and you can't offer that?
No.
No.
Because I know there was going to be one, I just wanted to make sure it was the email. Good, okay. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you.
We're not
Madam
hearing it.
President,
Yes.
can I ask why no?
I'm not asking why, I'm just asking if they...
We did not hear that petition at all, so
Wrong with this, I'm
none of the
sorry.
information,
I understand.
no information for that petition was presented to us, so I cannot give you a full answer to that.
Yeah, okay, that's okay.
right.
We'll have to wait until next month when all the evidence is presented. Thank you.
I am
And I
asking,
get to see...
Yes, Greg.
We were going to,
I'm asking in relation to tiny homes.
I thought that was a discussion we were gonna hand over to the plan commission.
Well, that's what I'd like to bring up and have it in the
Yeah.
meeting minutes.
Okay.
So that everybody is aware of
Very
that.
good.
So that we can get
Very
this
good.
addressed
I
and have it brought
apologize.
forward.
Yes.
So that we can get into the 21st century with tiny
Yes.
homes.
All right.
That's
So we can get
that's
on
my
with
intent.
HGTV, thank you. So it's on the record.
So go forward. She's giving you the go-ahead. What do you got?
For the tiny
Oh,
home.
I'm giving the go-ahead?
Yeah.
Well, that's essentially it. What I'd like to see is that this gets addressed at the county level.
So,
You need to bring it up at the plan commission meeting at a new business.
all right. So between that and the shooting range?
I'd rather one of the members bring it up and propose, we study and move forward at the meeting.
Okay,
I
so,
just-
That's a little cleaner that
My
way.
intent here was to bring it up as the BZA so that it gets pushed forward and people do
Yeah,
address.
I
So-
understand.
so as a representative from the BZA to the plan commission, bring this
Thank
up.
you.
And when we get to the planning commission, I'm gonna suggest that they appoint a committee, because this is a very difficult area, to create zoning requirements in.
Because it's so open on both ends.
What's that?
It's so open on both ends.
And
Exactly what
What I
we have to do with
understand
it.
is out there, it's all over.
It is.
So I think the planning commission is really gonna need to study this one.
So, I mean, you can, if you look out on the internet, right, you've got companies that are making tiny homes out of storage containers. 2 store spots.
We still haven't tackled storage containers in this county either.
Well, then I think we should ask Adam to bring that up under new business as well.
Should I bring shooting ranges with me?
Yeah, God. Sure, I got nothing else to do this next week.
Sure.
All right, so shooting ranges, tiny homes, and storage containers.
Right.
Thank you, Madam President.
Trailers going, trailers parks.
Shooting range.
Madam President, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
And I will agree with that one.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?